Hi, I'm Mary Hodson, formerly of the Chamber of Commerce, and I am here and already distracted by three beautiful, smart, fabulous women that I am able to call my chosen family. They're actually from the design team, which is the steering committee for the leadership program here in Hutchinson, and we're going to flip the tables today, and they're going to interview me. I'm going to introduce them. So this is Andrea Moore. You know Andrea because she's been on the show several times from Tiger Path. This is Shannon Bryce, who is with 3M. And we have over here Jackie Borka, who is with Deuce and Bobcats. And like I said, they are all ladies that I've worked with for quite some time. And we do call each other chosen family. We came together because of our common love of the program of Hutchinson Leadership Institute. But today, ladies, we are taking a new path.
I think I would like to ask you, like, if you had to describe your tenure at the Chamber in 3 words, either 3 different words or a phrase, what would you say?
3 words or a phrase. Educational, inspiring, honor.
Aww.
Yeah. I think that I have grown and learned so much from the Chamber. And so, I mean, I'm a different person than I was 12 years ago, and I think that's fair to say. I've learned so much. And from all of you, from everyone, right? You get back 10 times what you put into something, and I feel that, truly. It's truly been an honor to be able to be in this position. Look at what it's brought me. I'm so grateful, right? You are some of the best friends I have in the world. And I wouldn't have had that. We've talked about this, that I wouldn't have had that had I not had this position.
You said you weren't going to make us cry. Liar.
Who's crying?
I got a little.
I'm drinking wine.
Okay.
So on that note, Mary, you brought up some of the blessings. What is the biggest takeaway that you're going to take from your years here at the Chamber?
The people. You know, they say you might not remember what somebody said, but you remember how they made you feel. And I feel like I'm just so grateful. If doing this is even hard for me because it's a half hour of trying to condense something that really is hard to put into words, right? I mean, we can dive deeper into some of it, but I think it's really about the people. It's about the community of Hutchinson and the collaborative spirit that it has, which we talk about when we travel all over the state now.
People are jealous.
We're going national soon, I'm sure of it.
I thought we were going to Tahiti or something.
Well, they're international. I like it. I like how you're thinking. But I think that the collaboration, and I knew that about Hutchinson. I had already worked in Hutchinson and seen it and experienced it, but I think that now I have a greater appreciation for the capability that one person has. It's not always just the city that's making something happen. Like the city of Hutchinson, the entity of City of Hutchinson, they empower people to be able to do those things. And people are empowering themselves. That's my biggest takeaway.
That's a great point. And like you said, sometimes you're in it and you know it's great, but you don't realize how great it is until you hear maybe that outside perspective from another community, and they're like, how do you guys do this and not like fight for who's best or and we're like, oh, is that a thing?
So just as you said that made me think of the day that I found out one of my former employees' daughters was getting bullied. They were in a completely different state. And she herself, at 12, she's a senior now. Oh, wouldn't that be ick? She herself was trying to show people that kindness matters. And I literally sent you all a text message on the design team, men and women, and I said, you guys, I need your help. We need to show this little girl who's in California that her home has been Hutchinson all these years, but that kindness matters. And in a week, we had an entire, I don't know, we had a couple hundred people in the park. There were signs, there were posters, there were banners, there There were people all over with the message. We had her on, we were with her on my phone. And I remember you started this, but everybody came together to help make that happen. Everybody comes together to help make Hutchinson signs get painted or replaced together. Everybody comes together when you ask for help. And that goes back to, somebody said it last week at leadership, know your network before you need your network. And my network stepped up. My network is still stepping up. So, yeah, people.
Yeah.
That was an incredible day. I was part of that. It was just incredible to see all these people collect for somebody that they probably didn't even know.
Yep.
Yeah. Nope.
The power of that,
I know.
Yeah, exactly.
It's powerful what people can do. It's kind of like watching TV right now, because I've been away for a hot minute doing some other stuff. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But watching what's happening in North Carolina and how people are coming together to use a horse to bring insulin to somebody, right?
Kayak. A gentleman was delivering product via kayak.
And you know he was portaging.
Yep.
Because you can't even get through all of that.
I hate portaging.
Yeah, we know you don't like portaging. We still can't believe that you get in a kayak or a canoe, but that's another story.
Me either. Yeah.
That's another bottle of that
Yeah,
right
no
there.
kidding.
And I think that's the thing that I take away from so many things these days is hope, right?
So I'm going to shift gears a little bit. So Hutchinson Leadership Institute has been very near and dear to my heart. So Mary, tell us about your time with Hutchinson Leadership from the beginning to where we're at right now. Just summarize.
Okay, that's where I'm going to go. So the Hutchinson Leadership, but it's good, right? Don't
She
cry
started
because
it.
it's done. Cry, be happy that it happened, right? I'm so grateful for the Hutchinson Leadership Institute because, again, I have people not just here on the couch with me that I'm going to take with me forever, right? The things that you get to see and watching another adult have an aha moment when you're talking about things that feel personal, things that feel like easy concepts, but then all of a sudden they get that one thing that just is a little bit of a twist of what they were thinking in their head. That, I love that. And I'm so proud that we just started our 36th year. 36 years of the Hutchinson Leadership Institute. People who have come before us set the plate for us to be able to continue this program and help businesses retain employees, help them feel engaged in a community so they want to stay here, make them better leaders, make them more self-aware. I mean, what's not watching people do things physically that they never imagined they would do.
Myself included.
And the pride that I have for them, that feeling of pride, right?
Yeah.
There's one woman not at this table today. Her name is Carly. Cheers.
Cheers, Carly.
She went back so she could conquer that.
Yeah.
There was a wall she needed of something extremely physical and hard. And like just sobbing because they did it. They were so scared, but they pushed through the fear and they did it. People at graduation, you know, people who are teary. I remember a couple of gentlemen, big, tall, broad, who couldn't quite get out thank you because their voices were cracking, their eyes were tearing.
Yeah.
Those are the things that you know that you've made an impact on them, and I'm grateful for that. Did that answer your question?
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
So on that note, what is something that people don't know about the chamber?
Okay, that's another bottle of wine.
We have 3.
I know. We're going to be here a while, ladies. I don't think that people really understand that we are a separate entity of the city. We're not part of the city of Hutchinson. We collaborate so closely with them sometimes. I think that is the misconception. The things that we do on a daily basis, we're not always event planning. We're program planning, we're service planning. They are service planning. They are not always event planning. And I think that that's some of the things that, I mean, we could talk about certificate of origins and signing certificate of origins. If you don't know, it's okay, you don't know. We are working to make sure that people understand what's happening at the legislature and how that impacts them and how they can tell their story to help impact an outcome at the Capitol, because it does matter when they tell their story. Helping businesses during COVID, right? Which, if you read the newspaper article, that's probably at the very, very top of my list of pride, like of what we've done. But there were businesses that I went in and I was helping them with boxes of receipts, right? They didn't have QuickBooks. They were using a spreadsheet. They might still be using a notebook, right? People who were at that point, that breaking point, but they needed help getting a grant. And I was there helping them. They may have not even been chamber members, but they needed help. And I think that we helped a lot of people get through that time, maybe with a little bit more grace than they felt going in.
That was one of my favorite times too on the design team, like to just be thinking about like, how do we do Hutch leadership during COVID? And then like just the beauty of all being in the room together with other people, and somebody has one idea and then it's that's not, oh, maybe not quite right, but then that spurs someone else to say, well, what if we added this? And then pretty soon we're driving all over the state delivering little fun packets of things.
Right.
And like, I just love that, like, you know, you think you have to do it all or you have to come up with it all, but it's not. It's like the beauty of everybody putting their brains together and building off each other and respecting what we all think could work, and then making it happen.
Right. We would never have imagined doing some of those things before COVID.
I could never have come up with any of that on my own.
And necessity is the mother of invention,
Right,
right?
right.
We had to do something. We needed to keep our cohort together. We worked really hard to make those experiences meaningful for people who are missing out on the in-person. And god dang it, we did a pretty dang good job.
Well, to see the people's faces when we like delivered things and you know what, like that, like you said, that makes it all worth it.
We literally had teams, part of our team delivering packages every month with materials and then little goodies for them to have. And like we had gift cards for lunch because we always buy lunch. Remember, we put gift cards every month in there so they could go have lunch sometime. And I remember Christmas lights, putting Christmas lights in one, and then asking them to decorate with Christmas lights before they got online. So, that was a lot of hard work, but it was good work.
Well, I always say, well, not always, but when people ask me, like, what is it about Hutchinson and why are you so collaborative and stuff? And just honestly, I think I was laying in bed one night and I thought, honestly, maybe it's because of the 36 years of Hutch Leadership Institute. Well, it wasn't 36 then, but, you know, like maybe that's the ripple effect, sort of every year, 20-some people in this community coming together and going through this journey together and going through these lessons and then we don't even know what all the good that comes from it because they keep doing good for 30 years later.
Well, you've said this, and you've talked about this before, because when am I going to say it right?
I don't know.
It was the
Consul
General, Consul General Ito
from
Japan, who was in Chicago, came here, and he was giving his closing words, and he was very, very kind in his words. He had a lot of praise and talked about how he saw so much collaboration. And Andrea's in the back next to one of the handlers, and she says,
well, it was at the winery.
He says that to all the girls, doesn't he?
I did. I said, he says that to all the girls or all the towns, you know, or communities. Because
he's been everywhere, right?
Yeah, and he said this, I have never seen this level of collaboration. And I said, he says that to all the girls. And she said, do you know Japanese culture? Like he is not
This
If
is for
he
you.
says it, he
It's
means
real.
it. He's not being mushy. I've never heard him say this before.
And after that, I think is when you laid in bed at night
Yeah, it
thinking
was.
about this. But we show the collaboration. We introduce them to the nonprofits, to the city employees. We show and demonstrate that collaboration. And maybe collaboration begets collaboration. Yeah. Okay, what else you got? These are easy questions.
Well, let's get to a fun one. Can you share with us your most embarrassing moment in your tenure here?
If it involves us, leave our names out.
Whether it's Hutch Leadership, Chamber,
It
any
actually
aspect.
it was in a design team meeting. Now, let's be fair, there were plenty of times that I would open my mouth and something else would come out.
I know the feeling.
Plant, right?
Yep.
Under the table, I would crawl under the table. You were probably
literally.
under the table and just, sit there for a little bit while my face changed colors. But one time, there was something we were talking about somebody being a puppet. And Roman was sitting next to me, and I stuck my hand up his sweatshirt, thinking he had a t-shirt on underneath his sweatshirt. And he didn't. And he's like, whoa, 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 whoa. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I am so sorry. That's
flesh.
the first thing that sticks out in my mind. Like, I am so sorry, Roman. He's like, wow, that's a whole nother level of friendship there I wasn't expecting. Yeah. That's the one that comes to mind first and foremost. Yeah. Because I'll do something good for a joke, but literally thought he had a t-shirt on underneath a sweatshirt. I asked staff today what questions they would ask if they could, because I came into the office before we were here. And one of them said, what is something that you've learned at the chamber that you have been able to implement into your own life? And honestly, I haven't thought about it till now. Oops.
To check if someone has a t-shirt on under their sweatshirt.
Always check before you touch. It's an important life lesson.
It's another hashtag.
I know, right? Check before you touch. No. Okay. I actually don't talk as much as I used to.
You listen more? I gotta learn that.
Well, I always tried to fill the space. And a lot of times I was just filling it with filler, right? It's just fluffy stuff that doesn't matter. I just recently learned something. It's called EEC, and you guys are going to hear me talk about it more and more. And I think I mentioned it to you the other day. Is it efficient? Is it effective? Is it compelling? If it's not those three things, then maybe it doesn't need to be said. And so I really like that, and I think that has a big life learning lesson for me. Yeah, I'll write it down for you later.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Text it to me.
Yeah, right. Okay. I'll send a text at 11 o'clock at night.
Please.
Yeah.
What is your greatest wish for your successor, Valerie, and kind of the chamber? That those should be probably somewhat related going forward.
My greatest wish for Valerie is that people give her the respect and the time, because this isn't something you just jump into lightly, right? There's a lot of stuff to learn. There's a lot of moving parts, and so I hope people give her grace and give her the time to get her feet are wet. Trust me.
Yeah,
she's in a deep dive right now, right? But then that she's able to make the things happen that either I wasn't able to or that she wants to. She went to a conference with me. She'd been in the office, in the position, 11 days. Oh, wow. So she heard from so many things, right? And she's going to learn the things that she can't get done just because there's not enough time, it doesn't fit the mission, right, all of those things. But she's got such a great team behind her. She not only has Julie, who is the director of communication here, she now has Paula, who's the office manager, and a great board. And they just want to support her and help her be successful. And so I hope that people just give her time to do that. I had time to do that. I've been here for a long time in the chamber world, in the chamber industry, right? 12 years when the average is 3 to 4. So we're going to give her a hot minute to kind of catch up and take a breath. And then I'm so excited to see all the things that will happen. Just the conversation coming back after a couple of weeks of not being here, a week of not being here. The conversations they're having are the right conversations. They're meaningful conversations. And so they're effective, they're efficient, they're compelling. And I'm really proud of that. So I'm really proud of the board for having chosen her. And I'm thrilled. I'm so excited.
Mary, we're on camera here at addressing the community.
Drinking wine.
Huh?
No.
We forgot they were out there, but
Yeah.
but you have a captive audience. So what is something that you want the community to know, or your ask or your plea to the community on what they can do for Hutchinson?
Okay. It is not one person. It is not a building. It's you. You can help make things happen. There's a woman in Minnesota, her name is Sharon McMahon, who just wrote about a book called The Small and Mighty. And it's about 8 historical Americans that we've probably never heard of, who took a grand idea and made something happen, but they were small and mighty people. They thought they didn't have the opportunity to make real change, but each one of us can actually make real change. How do you think the dog park happened? That wasn't the city going, we should have a dog park. No, it was a group of citizens who came and said, we really would like to have a dog park. And the city said, we're not going to tell you we can't do it. We're going to find a way to do it. But we need to know that other people want it. They went out and raised $13,000 to make that happen. That's the kind of community that we live in, who helps make things happen. That dog park cost way more than $13,000. They appreciated the $13,000. But the city put up the rest of the money because it was clear that the community wanted it and would utilize it. And if you don't have a dog and haven't been to that dog park, oh, it's so fabulous. We love going down there, and some people go there every day because they don't have a place for their dog to just run. Or they have a dog that needs to run and they can't send them somewhere else. So that's just one example of the things that happen in this community. Now, I could name off, as could you all, the number of projects that happen. But one day, for leadership, we actually made a map of Hutchinson and started putting all the spots on the community of projects that happened because one or more people came together and said, we can make this happen. The Sculpture Stroll, Harrington Merrill House, the charter school, New Discoveries, the depot. Those are just River Song. River Song came from somebody's idea during Blandon, right? These are all things that came about.
Farmers Market?
Farmers Market. When that came together and with the depot, so somebody had 2 ideas and they merged them. It's a perfect example. These things happen, the mural project. Now, I know a lot of people helped, and I give those people the credit. But I had an idea. I kept telling a friend of mine who works in rural communities. She sent me the one from the New London, Wisconsin idea. I connected with them. They gave me tons of information, and we made it happen, right? So you can do it. If you want it, we can build it.
So I have a question for you, Mary. We all know that Hutchinson is near and dear to your heart. But what is the backstory behind Goodnight Hutchinson?
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
Or Good Morning.
Or Good Morning, Hutchinson. There is a second book now. We haven't really advertised a whole lot yet, but the second book is here. And yes, I have your books. So that was a back pocket idea that ended up blending with another idea. So a friend of mine in Arkansas had done a book called Goodnight Fayetteville, but she used it as a fundraiser, and she had sponsors. I thought that was a genius idea. Well, where did the money go to? It went to business education. That's so smart.
That's what you do.
That's what we do. You and I went to a meeting up in St. Cloud, the infamous meeting in St. Cloud. with the Ben Network.
It's amazing we're here, actually.
The Business Education Network. We went up to St. Cloud with a whole bunch of other chambers to talk about workforce development and connecting with our schools. So we went up there, of course, because of Tiger Path. It was a horrible snowstorm. There's a
Horrible.
selfie. We have a selfie. We sat anyway. We'll tell you
had
about
to
it later.
pee. It was
Anyway,
bad, yeah.
so at that meeting, other chambers were talking about their foundation and how crucial and important their foundation was to helping with education for adults and youth. Adults and youth. Book in my back pocket. I'd had it written a long time ago. I wrote it in a night. Adult and youth education, a book, a foundation. All of a sudden, it all started rolling in. Honestly, going to bring up Roman again. Roman Blomke of Woodstone Senior Living, in case everybody's going, who in the heck is Roman? And I said, I need to have lunch with you. And he's probably thinking, oh gosh, she's out of here. I said, I have an idea, but I just need to know if it's too much. And he said, no, let's do this. So wrote the book, tweaked the book, got sponsors for the book. We sell the book to raise money for the foundation. No money comes to Mary. Mary basically gets a box of books to give, right? Because my grandkids have to have them. That's how that started. And then I was like, you know what? We should really do a Good Morning Hutchinson one. And in the meantime, my friend who did the Fayetteville one did a Good Morning one.
Oh, really?
But I had it written a long time ago.
She copied you.
I know, right?
Great minds.
And I held on to that for a long time thinking I was going to do it. But it was one of the reasons, one of the many reasons that I gave such a long notice so I could finish that book and have it ready to go. So literally by the skin of our information about the chamber having them. But again, I'm not taking any money from it. It's kind of my, I guess, my legacy. So thank you for asking. It's one way to have a love letter to the community that you love and that is taking care of you. If you're going to ask about what's next, I have started part of the new journey. I started my own business, Hodson Solutions. I'm already doing some strategic planning for nonprofits and chambers. So I've already got that under my belt working. And then everybody gets really excited when they hear about Goldman Sachs because most people have heard of Goldman Sachs. They are a very large national financial company, and I am a business advisor for their 10,000 Small Businesses program. And I did training for a month for that, and then on my off time. And then last week was my first week working with them in the class. This is the first Minnesota cohort, and basically the easiest way to define it is a crash course in an MBA for 3 months. Every day I'm on a Zoom with the team, the delivery team, the class, individual students, groups, and helping them create a growth plan that they can utilize. It's a live working document. They can take it to the bank. They can take it, all the things that hopefully I'm already been helping people with, but on a whole nother level. So people from all over the state are participating, and that's really exciting.
But one of my relatives in the community who knows that I'm very good friends with Mary and I love her, but doesn't really know Mary herself that well. And I was telling her about Goldman. She said, what's Mary going to do now? Like a million people have asked. And I told her about the Goldman Sachs thing, and she's like, Goldman Sachs? And I said, yeah. And she goes, she's that good?
Don't cut that part.
Yeah. And I said, she's that good.
Oh, thank you. Well, this has been fun reminiscing with all of you. Thank you for being here. I know this wasn't on the top of your I want to do this list.
Yes, well.
But I love that it was.
In front of the camera.
I love the fact that it was call your network when you need your network, and you came anyway. So thank you. And again, thank you, Hutchinson. It's been a wonderful ride, and I really appreciate all of you. It's been 12 glorious years, and we're not going anywhere. Kevin and I are staying here, so I'll still be not going anywhere. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us. Until later, au revoir.
Mwah.
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 We're starting Chamber Connection so you can learn about what the Chamber does on a weekly and daily basis. Hi, I'm Mary Hodson. Welcome to the Chamber Connection. So glad that you joined me today so I can tell you about some really great things that are happening in Hutchinson, Minnesota. We would not have been able to walk through the streets or be on top of picnic tables if we had been here during lunchtime. This place was completely packed with people. There were lines at all of the booths. This is Taste of Hutchinson. I have 8 guests coming in, yes, 8 guests who are going to be talking about their experience with the Leadership Institute program this year. I am so excited that you're here today. I have a bunch of stuff. I even brought papers today for you because we have a lot to cover. A lot. You know there's much in Hutch. Let's talk about one of my very favorite topics. You've heard us talk about it before, is about the opportunity to share with people why it's so important to actually purchase items, use services that are from local businesses. This has been going on for 42 years. It's very popular and it actually brings in a lot of people to Hutchinson. I think that for us it's such a collaborative effort and a collaborative community that we're in, and so the us and them doesn't apply anymore. Welcome to the McLeod County Fair and the Made in McLeod experience. And I actually do fit inside the box, but we won't close it up today, where we are going to show you the 7 wonders of Hutchinson. There is hashtag much in Hutch, and maybe some crazy people in the chamber office today. And we're going to talk about Main Street 2020. We are going to get the inside scoop on the projects that are happening between West, Park, and Tiger. I'm hoping that we'll continue to share the message to come on down and support your friends, your family, your neighbors who work at these businesses.
Lots of stuff going on.
I know,
Lots
right?
of events, yes.
That's what we want. Today, I'm very fortunate to have with me a friend, and you know how I love to have friends here.
I don't always take president positions, but when I do, it's for the ambassador.
Much in Hutch. Incredible community. Mary, I know you love to hear that.
I do love to hear that.
But
I believe that it's true. I mean, you just synopsized everything that I think about. Like, we just cover everything for the kids, no matter what their interests are. I hope that you have been able to learn something today that you didn't know before, hopefully to make your home or your business, or maybe your neighbor's home or business safer. So we can bring you the most updated information about the new Hutchinson Health Patient Wing. I don't know about you, but I have heard so much information about the COVID-19 vaccine that I'm confused. I don't know who to trust, and I don't know what to believe. What would you say are the most common questions or concerns that people bring to you about the vaccine?
Yep.
Now, for us in Hutchinson, Small Business Saturday is about the small business of Hutchinson. And we are going to learn and be educated today at Creekside Soils. very first night in November of 1855 that three brothers from the East Coast, Asa, John, and Judson Hutchinson, camped right here on this hill. As my friend Jim Fahey says, where the savanna forest meets the prairie, this was going to be the perfect spot to start a new community. I dressed purposefully this morning. You know how Hutchinson is a city on purpose? I have my cross, I have my Minnesota and Much and Hutch and Love Where You Live. I have Janessa earrings, I have t-shirt, I have my favorite bracelet that made Liz, our producer, cry a couple of years ago. I have all the things that I've gotten and love. These are keepsakes to me, and that's why I think the Arts and Crafts Festival is so special. Talk about fraud today. And fraud is a very broad term. A lot of roads right into it, but childcare is certainly one of them, and there's going to be a lot of people who have a lot of questions today. We're going to take you on a little tour and show you a little bit about the Chamber and our 75th anniversary. And tonight is our artist reception for the Participate Hutchinson, a community mural project. I'm standing by the original pieces that were sent to us. It has been an absolute privilege. I #love where I live, and I hope that you love where you live too.